Hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Low Season Traveller Insider Guides. I'm your host, Kate Burgess. Vietnamese food. I'm just going to let that sit there for a second and let you think about it and what it means to you, because if you have listened to our previous episodes, you would know by now that I am such a foodie. I travel to destinations based on the cuisine. I travel because I want to learn about the local produce, how to treat different foods to get the best out of them, and to try things that I know that I would never be able to get in Australia. So you know that when I say that Vietnam was my favorite country I have ever been to for cuisine, that it's damn bloody good. And excuse the Australian colloquialisms, but it's seriously the best and most blunt way to get my passionate point across. Vietnam, I found, just have this incredible ability to get their food to taste fresh, spicy, tangy, with lime and fish sauce and chili, and it's just magical. And honestly, we have to get to our guest because otherwise I'll sit here all day and name Vietnamese ingredients that I absolutely love. Hue joins us again to talk about her experience in running cooking classes in Vietnam and the traditional foods of central Vietnam. Hope you enjoy. Hi Hua, thank you again for joining us on Low Season Travel Insider Guides.
Thank you, Kate, for having me here.
Okay, firstly, are you ready? Because we are about to squeeze one of my favorite subjects into a small little episode about Vietnamese food. So I just want you to be prepared for my onslaught of saliva and passion.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about Vietnamese cuisine from bottom of my heart with all of my passion about Vietnamese cuisine.
Amazing. So, firstly, I would love if you could talk about the little bit of a difference in food throughout Vietnam. I'm sure most of our listeners have heard of pho, of banh mi. Not that they're saying that they're not delicious and people shouldn't try them, they definitely should. But today I want to explore a little bit deeper about things that may have not heard about. So, when in central Vietnam, other than those fantastic foods, what are the true delicacies? What are the dishes people should truly be trying?
Yeah, so the food in region Vietnam quite different from the north, the center, and the south. So in central Vietnam, we use a lot of spicy. So it's the flavor is more quite hot and spicy, and we use so many different kind of seafood inside because we live near the beach. So like famous in Hoi An is a lot, right? So but in Hue, this really famous for royal cuisine because it's like have the last dynasty in Vietnam there. So the food in Hue really delicate and they
So,
famous.
sorry, what do you mean by royal cuisine?
Like because royal cuisine because Hue is a former capital of Vietnam and they have the last royal dynasty there, right? So the sometimes the master chef in Hue they cook is really the way they cook is really delicate. The food is really amazing and Hue is really famous for cuisine and for food there. And also Hoi An as well, the mix of the cuisine of Indochina of Vietnam. So there are some dishes that you can find in central Vietnam, but you cannot find in the north or the center. For example, pho is original from the north of Vietnam, but you can find it everywhere around Vietnam. But for example, like cao lâu or mì Quảng in Hội An, just only in Hội An, and bún bò Huế in Huế is really good in Huế. So bún bò Huế is like kind of like a chili hot beef noodle, yeah. So that is really good. And then in Da Nang and Hội An, they're famous for mì Quảng, which is also the same kind of noodle with pho, but they use like turmeric chicken broth and have some brown rice cracker inside there. Eat with the veggie. They don't have a lot broth, just a little bit. So it's like kind of noodle salad. And then they also Hoi An have Cao Lo. Cao Lo is like original from like 16th century, and they also made from rice noodle, but the way they cook it different. So different kind of noodle. And then they also have like the broth with marinade pork, rice cracker, and eat with the vegetable. And then in Phong Nha, in my hometown, we have some like yummy food. Like we eat a lot of seafood, and my favorite is like con bánh canh noodle. It's a different kind of noodle. It's like different noodle from province. And then has some dumpling. We wrap in a banana leaf and steam that or fry that. It's really good. And then some salad like papaya salad or green mango salad is really good.
I think as well, the amazing thing about Vietnam is that with the food as well, you don't have to be going to a fancy restaurant to try the best of these foods. You know, sometimes the best food is that one little nook in the back corner of the market and it's got a queue of like 50 people and it's so unassuming. And I think that's the amazing thing is that this food is on the street, it's everywhere and it's so accessible to everyone. When eating in Vietnam, do you recommend people trying a different range? Do you recommend them just going to the markets? What do you think is the best way to truly experience that food?
Yeah, I really agree with you that like the best food in Vietnam when we come from the street and from the market. Because the food is really good is not because that the is like the name is good because of the people who cook that. So like if the people in the market, like some lady, they have cooked that for the whole of their life, like 20 years, 30 years, and from the street food they do that for like like their careers. So the way they cook is really passionate, is really good, really skillful. So make the food is really yummy. And then like Vietnamese people, we love to eat in the street and market and talk with each other like that at the start of conversation there, and also the way of socialize as well. So it's really like part of the culture. For the restaurant, like for the people want to find more table with more convenient and like kind of fusion or for like kind of premier experience. Yeah, so but I do recommend go to the market first to eat the food.
And if I can chime in with actually one of my recommendations, is that a lot of these marketplaces have images of food and they often have an English menu as well. And one of my favorite things to do in Vietnam was actually say no to the English menu and just pick something completely random. Have no idea what's coming out onto my table, have no clue what's in it. And those were some of my favorite dishes. And I wish I could sit here and recommend them to you, but I just pointed to something on a menu and I said, this.
Yeah, I really agree. I mean, like you cannot have the bad meal in Vietnam, right? So you don't
Yep.
really care about the feature. Whatever you order, you're gonna have the best meal ever. So yeah, just confident to order whatever, or just ask the local, or look at the local people what they are eating, and then I want the same. Yeah.
Yes, smart. Always look at the local people. What are they eating? Point. I'll have one of them.
And then we also tell about each other, like if some like a street vendor or where the restaurant have really crowded, that is like the best one in that area. So we just go there.
Yeah, we also had a rule as well that, as you said, you like to eat in the streets and things like that. So there's a lot of like little plastic chairs scattered around. And we said the smaller the chairs and the older the chef, that is when you are getting the best Vietnamese cooking.
Yeah, that's true. And then we also like make fun with each other, like the lower chair, the cheaper price. So
Yeah.
the higher chair is higher price. So it's mean like higher chair in the restaurant or something. So we just say like that.
Easy, a simple solution to figure out what kind of food you're going to get.
Yeah.
So you have worked in Vietnam hosting cooking classes. And I know that they're a really popular tourist activity to do. So could you tell us what an experience is like to as a tourist in one of these cooking classes and what people would expect?
Yeah, so I first start my own cooking class when I was a student in Hanoi capital. So at that time, I provide really authentic cooking class with the locals. So I bring the guests to the nearby local market and then show them the ingredients we're gonna cook, and then you have them to know about the local spicy and herbs that they don't have in their country, and then they're gonna have really beautiful picture with the logo as well. And then I bring them to my place, and then we start like doing food and cooking together and start talking about everything. And they really love that because it's really authentic in local small old building in Hanoi. And then yeah, they like that. But when I moved to Hoi An, I do so many cooking class with different place, and then we offer different experience. So of course, we're gonna bring the guests to the local market, show them the amazing fresh food and colorful, spicy and herb everything. But we also compile some activity like ride the bicycle around the battlefields as well to go to the place or restaurant, or like stay on the boat to have the fresh air from the river to go to the market. And or we bring them to the water coconut village, and they're gonna stay in the water bamboo boat to visit the rather water coconut village a little bit, and then come back to doing the cooking class over there. So really combine different activity in the cooking class, but it's end up everyone is happy because they have the full belly with
Yeah.
amazing.
That's awesome though that you're teaching them not just how to cook, but about you're taking them to the market and showing them the different foods, and it's just so much more than a cooking class. It's really and as well interacting with the local. People absolutely love doing that. So yeah, I recommend anyone that wants to learn about food and the culture surrounding that and meeting locals that they do a cooking class in that area.
Yeah, definitely.
So, the French influence on Vietnamese food can often be surprising. You find it in the pate, on the banh mi's, and as well the baguette is used. It's such an interesting combination of food cultures with Vietnamese, I think, is so fresh and light, and then French is just so rich and full. Do you see this French influence in central Vietnam? And if so, what dishes are we seeing it in?
Yeah, I can say that it by me is the most iconic French influence. So a lot of people call baguette, but in Vietnam we call bánh mì. And like original baguette is like have the like ham, cheese, or something really Western ingredient like that. But in Vietnam we adapt with the local ingredients with fresh herb like coriander inside, cucumber, yeah, spring onion, salad, thing like that. And then we have different kind of meat inside, chicken, pork, beef, and even sometimes we put seafood inside as well. And then the sauce is amazing, but we do have the pate as well, yeah, to make it more like creamy and thing. And then I can see the team make the bánh mì really well in Vietnam. That is the bánh mì is really crunchy, like really they eat that really when it's warm and crunchy. So it's like it's amazing. And then another French influence, I think that is the coffee. Of
Mm.
course, the French people bring coffee in Vietnam in 18th century, and then we don't use the fresh milk at the youth. We use condensed milk. That our traditional Vietnamese coffee soda. The reason why we use condensed milk because in that time fresh milk is quite expensive, so
Mm.
they use condensed milk, which is like 80% sugar, 20% milk, so it's cheaper, more economical. But it turns out that it really matched with strong coffee in Vietnam because we drink mostly Robusta, which is really dark and strong, and it really matched with creamy and sweet of condensed milk. Rather than Arabica, I'm gonna go better with fresh milk.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because you're just adding the sugar within the condensed milk. People add their sugar anyway. And I know in the US they have half and half, which is basically half milk, half cream. It's the same thing. You guys are just saying, no, condensed milk has the sugar, it has the sweetness, it has the creaminess. Why would we use anything else? That's what people want out of their coffee anyway.
Yeah, that is amazing. Yeah, I really agree with you about that. And then in that time, I'm quite creative about use the yolk of egg. So we have egg coffee because of that as well. So we lack up milk, we lack up condensed milk like that. So they just use the egg to make the egg coffee, and it turns out it's amazing and it's really iconic coffee in Hanoi right now, or now they spread around Vietnam. I recommend you have to try.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so is that basically espresso with egg yolk mixed in? Is that what an egg coffee is?
Yeah, with condensed milk as well. Yeah.
Wow. And is the egg yolk, it's raw, I imagine. I know that seems like a dumb
Oh,
question.
it's raw. Yeah, yeah,
Interesting. So does that add like an extra creaminess kind of thing?
yeah.
What texture is that adding?
As you say, it's like creamy, like you eat tiramisu, but you drink coffee like that.
Mm.
Yeah, so so it's espresso strong, robusta, right? And then a layer of condensed milk, and then you make the raw yolk of egg inside there, and then it's like foaming, creamy, sweeting, as like yeah, so nice.
It's like a cake in a drink. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
So, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Give me your best Central Vietnam food recommendations if someone to follow for 3 meals of the day.
So I assume my breakfast, lunch, and dinner in Vietnam quite similar. If you eat out in a restaurant, so it's like banh mi, phở, noodle, on that kind of thing gonna be like we eat any time of the day. I would recommend have the banh mi or noodle in the morning. And lunchtime, uh, I mean, when you eat out, you can eat some like if it's hot weather, you eat some salad like green papaya salad, spring roll, fresh roll, so it's not hot and nice during the day. But in the dinner, you're gonna have like really some authentic Vietnamese food like pork caramel in clay pot, or like seafood, or yeah, fish, or yeah, it's really like um, pick an authentic Vietnamese food at the dinner. That is like when you like at a tourist, but we are live at a family in Vietnam. Dinner quite important, so we cook a lot of like dish for the dinner, and we share with each other. So dinner like when we see each other after a long day and talk and share everything, and yeah, so we cook a lot of different dish for dinner, including soup, including vegetable, including fish, including meat, and everything, and dessert as well.
So basically, your recommendation there is to make sure that you become friends with a local so that you can go to their family dinner at night because it's just going to be awesome. And I mean, I feel like this is why I love food. It's that connection that you create with people and the sharing and the openness. And I feel like that's just something that brings us together. And, despite those language barriers, we can all share beautiful food together.
Yeah, exactly. I more than recommend that you make friend with the Vietnamese family. So it's gonna change totally the experience you have in Vietnam, because you feel part of their culture, part of the country, and then you feel you belong to there. So you feel really like home and welcoming, and enjoy the delicious food with them. So yeah, it's better than you just enjoy by yourself in the street and look at the people. It's nice as well, but you try one single food at a time, but you enjoy the dinner with a local family. You eat many kind of food at the same time.
Sounds like an absolute dream. So, thank you so much, Joel, for joining us today. Honestly, I'm sure we're going to go off camera and continue talking about this because during my quarantine, my one cooking goal was to perfect a banh mi. I was making pork belly all the time, making pate, coriander, everything. So, we're both in Melbourne at the moment. You're returning to Vietnam soon. So before you go, you have to tell me the best banh mi place in Melbourne. You can try theirs, you can try mine, and we'll see who wins.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. For the Melbourne near, I recommend one bánh mì called Bun Bun Bakery in Springville. Even though I try many bánh mì in Melbourne, but I see that roast pork bánh mì there is quite authentic. So yeah.
There we go. Little tip for our Melbourne listeners. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been really lovely.
Thank you so much, Kate. Hope everyone enjoy the sensational of the Vietnamese food that we mentioned today as well.
Bye.
Bye.
Hoa, thank you again for joining us this week and sharing your knowledge and passion about Central Vietnam. And don't worry, for all those out there wondering, we will be doing podcasts on both the North and South Vietnam in the new year, so make sure you keep an eye out for those. Don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, family, and social network. If you want to know more about these destinations, make sure you visit our website, www.lowseasontraveller.com. Keep your travel dreams alive, and more now than ever, travel is better without the crowds.